I was sitting on my couch that Saturday night, thinking about how lucky I was. Lauren was in the shower, and I could hear her humming some song she loved. Her phone sat on the coffee table screen, dark. We had just finished cooking dinner together. 8 months of living together, 2 years of dating. I was planning to propose next month. Then her phone lit up. A message from an unknown number. The preview read, "She told me she still loves me. You deserve to know. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you are watching from today. Drop a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe if you want to hear how a single text message changed everything I thought I knew about love and trust. My name is Ronald. I am 32 years old, and I work as a software engineer in Denver, Colorado. 3 years ago, I met Lauren at a coffee shop downtown. I was working on my laptop debugging some code that had been giving me trouble all week. She walked past my table, tripped on nothing, and spilled her entire iced latte right onto my keyboard. She was mortified. Her face turned bright red as she grabbed napkins and tried to clean up the mess, apologizing over and over. I should have been upset. That laptop was expensive, but something about her made it impossible to be mad. Maybe it was her chestnut brown hair falling into her face as she frantically wiped at the keys. Maybe it was her green eyes wide with genuine embarrassment. Or maybe it was the way she kept saying sorry like she had just committed some unforgivable crime. I told her it was fine. The laptop was due for an upgrade anyway. That was a lie, but it made her laugh, and her laugh was the kind that made you want to hear it again. We ended up talking for 2 hours. She was a nurse at a local hospital. She loved hiking and board games just like me. By the time the coffee shop closed, I had her number saved in my phone. Our first date was a hike at Red Rocks. She showed up in hiking boots that looked brand new, and I later found out she had bought them the day before just for our date. We talked the entire trail about our families, our dreams, our fears. She told me about growing up in a small town in Nebraska, about her strict parents, about how she moved to Denver to start fresh. I told her about my mom and dad back in Kansas City, about my sister who was getting married that summer, about how I had always wanted to build something meaningful with someone. 6 months into dating, Lauren felt like living in a dream I did not want to wake up from. She would surprise me with homemade cookies at my office. I would leave little notes in her scrubs pocket for her to find during her shifts. We took road trips to Rocky Mountain National Park, stayed in tiny cabins, watched the stars from hot tubs. I introduced her to my family during Thanksgiving. My mom pulled me aside and said she had never seen me this happy. She said Lauren was special. I agreed. After a year and a half, I asked Lauren to move in with me. I had a 2-bedroom apartment in Capitol Hill. Nothing fancy, but it was home. She said yes before I even finished the question. We spent a whole weekend picking out new furniture together. A gray sectional sofa, a dining table where we could host dinner parties, matching nightstands for the bedroom. She adopted a cat from a shelter, a fluffy orange tabby she named Biscuit. Friday nights became our sacred movie night. We would order pizza, curl up on that gray sectional, and watch whatever was trending. I started saving for an engagement ring. Living with Lauren made me realize how much I wanted to marry her. She had this way of making ordinary moments feel extraordinary. The way she danced while cooking breakfast, the way she always left the bathroom door open so we could talk while she did her makeup, the way she would reach for my hand in her sleep. I found a ring. Princess cut diamond white gold band. I put down a deposit and started planning the perfect proposal. But looking back now, I can see the signs I chose to ignore. About 3 months after she moved in, Lauren started checking her phone late at night. I would wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and see the glow of her screen lighting up her face. When I asked about it, she said her coworkers were texting about shift schedules. Night shifts at the hospital meant constant communication, she explained. I believed her. Why would I not? I trusted her completely. Then she started going to the gym every morning. She had never been into fitness before, but suddenly she was waking up at 5:30 to do spin classes. She bought new workout clothes, new running shoes, started caring more about her appearance. I thought it was great. I told her how proud I was of her for prioritizing her health. I even started making her protein smoothies to take with her. One evening, I glanced at her phone while she was in the kitchen. I was not snooping. I was just looking for the time. But I saw a contact name that made me pause. The letter D with a heart emoji next to it. When I casually asked who D was, Lauren did not miss a beat. Danielle, she said. Her best friend from college. They had reconnected recently and were texting a lot. Lauren talked about Danielle sometimes, about their wild college days, about how Danielle was going through a divorce and needed support. It made sense. I did not think about it again. Lauren also started having Sunday afternoon plans with friends. Every week she would get dressed up, say she was meeting the girls for brunch or shopping, and come home hours later in a good mood, but somehow distant. I figured she needed time with her friends. Everyone needs that. I never questioned it. I had become blind to what was right in front of me. Every red flag looked like a normal part of our relationship because I wanted it to be normal. I wanted us to be perfect. I had already pictured our wedding, our kids, our life together. I was not going to let small doubts ruin that picture. The ring arrived 2 weeks before that Saturday night. I hid it in my sock drawer behind old Christmas socks I never wore. I had been researching proposal spots. Maybe Trail Ridge Road at sunset. Maybe that cabin in Estes Park where we had our first overnight trip. I wanted it to be perfect. I had no idea that my perfect future was built on lies. That Saturday night changed everything. We had cooked dinner together like we always did on weekends. Chicken parmesan, her favorite. She had been in a great mood all day, laughing at my bad jokes, kissing me randomly while I stirred the sauce. After dinner, she went to take a shower. I settled onto the couch, turned on the television, and let myself enjoy the ordinary perfection of the moment. Her phone was on the coffee table. She always left it there. She never had a passcode because, as she told me once, she had nothing to hide from me. That phrase echoed in my mind later with bitter irony. The screen lit up with a text notification. I was not going to look. I trusted her. But the message preview was right there, impossible to ignore. She told me she still loves me. You deserve to know. My heart stopped. I read it again, certain I had misunderstood. But the words were clear. I could hear the shower running in the bathroom. Lauren was humming that same song, and I was staring at a message that was about to tear my world apart. I picked up her phone. My hands were steady, but inside I felt like I was falling. I told myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe it was spam. Maybe it was meant for someone else. Maybe I was about to feel foolish for even considering that Lauren could be hiding something. I opened the message. The sender introduced himself as Derek, Lauren's ex-boyfriend. He said they had been in contact for about a year. He said he thought I should know the truth. And then he sent screenshots. I scrolled through them slowly, each one hitting me harder than the last. Lauren to Derek. I miss what we had. Lauren to Derek, Ronald is nice, but he is not you. Lauren to Derek, I think about you every day. Lauren to Derek. Maybe one day we can try again. The most recent message was from 2 days ago. 2 days. While I was hiding an engagement ring in my sock drawer, she was telling another man that I was not him. I put the phone down. I felt sick. Physically sick, like the chicken parmesan was about to come back up. 2 years? 2 years of my life, my love, my trust. All of it meant nothing to her. I was her backup plan. Her safe choice? Her, not him. The shower turned off. I heard her footsteps in the hallway. I picked up her phone again. This time my hands were shaking. Lauren walked into the living room, wearing her bathrobe, her wet hair wrapped in a towel. She saw me holding her phone, and her face changed. The color drained from her cheeks. What are you doing with my phone? Her voice was sharp, defensive. I looked at her. This woman I had loved, had trusted, had planned to spend my life with. And I asked one simple question. Who is Derek? She froze. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Her eyes darted to the phone, then back to my face. I watched her try to calculate how much I knew. I decided to help her out. I read one of the messages out loud. Ronald is nice, but he is not you. The words hung in the air between us. Lauren's face crumpled. Tears started streaming down her cheeks. It is not what you think, she said. Then what is it? She stood there crying, not answering. So I asked the only question that mattered. Do you still love him? Silence. Long, terrible silence. I could hear Biscuit meowing in the kitchen. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears, and I could hear Lauren struggling to find words that would not come. Finally, she spoke. It is complicated. Her face flushed red when she said it, not with shame, with something else, something that looked almost like guilt mixed with longing. And in that moment, I knew. It is complicated was not a denial. It was a confession. I stood up from the couch. Lauren watched me, still crying, still wrapped in her bathrobe. She probably expected me to yell, to throw things, to demand explanations. That is what most people would do. But I was not most people, and I was not going to give her the satisfaction of seeing me fall apart. I walked past her into our bedroom. I opened the closet and pulled down her large suitcase from the top shelf, the one she had brought when she moved in 8 months ago. I laid it on the bed and unzipped it. Ronald, what are you doing? She had followed me. Her voice panicked. I did not answer. I started pulling her clothes from hangers, blouses, dresses, jeans. I folded them neatly and placed them in the suitcase. I was calm, methodical, like I was packing for a trip she had been planning to take all along. Stop. Please stop. She grabbed my arm, but I shrugged her off. You said it is complicated, I said. My voice was steady. Go be complicated somewhere else. She started sobbing harder. Ronald, please. Let me explain. Derek means nothing to me. You are the one I love. I pulled open the dresser drawer and grabbed her sweaters. Into the suitcase they went. You told him I am not him, I said. You told him you miss what you had. You told him maybe one day you can try again. Those are your words, Lauren, not mine. He manipulated me. She was desperate now. He knew exactly what to say. He reached out, and I was weak. But I never meant any of it. I stopped packing and looked at her. For a full year, you have been telling another man that you still have feelings for him. For a full year, I have been living in this apartment, thinking we were building something real. You want to talk about manipulation? Look in the mirror. She changed tactics. Her tears dried up a little. Her voice got harder. You are overreacting, she said. Every couple has a past. I made a mistake, okay? But you cannot just throw me out. I pay rent here too. I have rights. I almost laughed. Almost. Your name is not on the lease. I will refund your share of this month. You have until tomorrow morning to get the rest of your things. You cannot do this. I can, and I am. I zipped up the suitcase and handed it to her. I suggest you call Derek, I said. Maybe he can help you figure out your complicated feelings. The doorbell rang. We both froze. It was almost 11 at night. Nobody visits at 11 at night. I walked to the door and opened it. Standing in the hallway was a tall man with blonde hair, probably around 35 years old. He was wearing a leather jacket and had the look of someone who thought he was more important than he was. You must be Ronald, he said. I am Derek. I stared at him. This was the man Lauren had been texting for a year? This was the man who was not me. This was the man who had decided to blow up my life with a single message. Why are you here? Derek smiled. Not a friendly smile. A smug one. I thought Lauren might need a ride. And honestly, I think she deserves to be with someone who really loves her. Someone she really loves back. I heard Lauren come up behind me. She was holding the suitcase, her face a mess of tears and ruined makeup. I looked at Derek, then at Lauren, then back at Derek. "She is all yours," I said. "Good luck with complicated." I stepped back and started to close the door. "Ronald, wait." Lauren's voice cracked. "Please. Can we just talk about this?" I paused with the door half closed. "There is nothing left to talk about. You made your choice a year ago. You just forgot to tell me about it." I closed the door. Through the wood, I could hear Lauren crying. I could hear Derek's voice low and comforting. I could hear their footsteps moving away down the hall. I walked back to the bedroom. The closet doors were still open, half empty now. Her perfume still lingered in the air. On my nightstand was a framed photo of us from our trip to Estes Park. We were standing in front of a waterfall, her arms wrapped around my neck, both of us smiling like we had discovered the secret to happiness. I picked up the frame and put it face down. Biscuit jumped onto the bed and meowed at me. I sat down next to him and scratched behind his ears. "At least you are staying," I told him. He purred. I sat there for a long time staring at the wall. The apartment was so quiet I could hear the refrigerator humming in the kitchen. Somewhere in my sock drawer was a princess-cut diamond ring that would never see her finger. I did not cry that night. I was too empty for tears, but I did open that drawer. I did look at the ring, and I did laugh. Not because it was funny, because what else could I do? The first week was the hardest. I took 3 days off work. I told my boss I had a family emergency, which felt true enough. I spent those days cleaning the apartment. I boxed up everything Lauren had left behind. Her books, her yoga mat, the coffee mug with her initial on it. I put the boxes by the door for her to pick up. She sent her friend to collect them. She did not come herself. I called my mom on the second day, told her everything. She listened without interrupting, which is not easy for her. When I finished, she said, "Better to know now than after you married her." She was right, but being right did not make it hurt less. The nights were the worst. I would wake up at 3 in the morning and reach for Lauren out of habit. My hand would find empty space and cold sheets. I would lie there staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every sign I had missed. The late-night phone checks, the gym obsession, the mysterious D with a heart. The Sunday afternoons she spent somewhere else. I had trusted her completely. I had given her everything, and she had kept me around as her safety net while she figured out if she could have something better. My coworker Marcus saved me during those first few weeks. He noticed something was wrong on my first day back at the office. Instead of asking questions, he just said, "Bowling tonight." "You are coming." It was not a request. Marcus was a terrible bowler, but he was a good friend. We started going every Thursday. He never pushed me to talk about Lauren. He just made sure I was not alone. After a month, I started hiking again. Solo trips to trails I had never explored. Red Rocks, Mount Falcon, Evergreen Lake. There is something about being alone in nature that puts things in perspective. The mountains do not care about your broken heart. The trees do not care that someone lied to you. They just exist solid and patient, the way I wanted to learn to exist. After 3 months, I signed up for a cooking class downtown. I figured if I was going to be eating alone, I should at least eat well. That is where I met Sophie. Sophie was not like Lauren. She was quiet where Lauren was loud. She was straightforward where Lauren was complicated. On our first conversation, she told me she had just gotten out of a bad relationship too. She was not looking for anything serious. Neither was I. We became friends, and that was enough. Around the 6-month mark, I returned the engagement ring. The jeweler gave me most of my money back. I used it to book a solo trip to Portland. I had always wanted to see the Pacific Northwest, but Lauren had never been interested, so I went alone. I ate incredible food. I walked along the coast. I thought about who I wanted to become. I heard through a mutual friend that Lauren and Derek lasted exactly 2 months. Apparently, He had been seeing someone else the entire time. He had sent me that text not because he cared about the truth, but because he wanted Lauren available. And once he had her, he lost interest. The same pattern that destroyed our relationship destroyed hers. Lauren tried to reach out to me after that. A text first, then an email, then a voicemail where she cried and apologized and asked if we could talk. I did not respond to any of them. Eventually, I blocked her number. It was not about anger anymore. It was about peace. These days, I am doing okay. Biscuit and I have a good routine. I still go bowling with Marcus on Thursdays. I still take cooking classes, though. Sophie and I have graduated to more advanced courses now. We are still just friends, but who knows what the future holds. I am not rushing anything. I learned a lot from what happened with Lauren. I learned that trust is precious, but blind trust is dangerous. The red flags were always there. I just chose not to see them because I wanted the fantasy more than the truth. I learned that my worth does not depend on someone else choosing me. Lauren picked Derek over me. That was her choice. It does not mean I am less than. It means she was not the right person. Simple as that. I learned that walking away is sometimes the strongest thing you can do. That night, I could have begged her to stay. I could have given her another chance. I could have tried to compete with Derek for her affection. But why? Why fight for someone who has already shown you where their heart really is? And I learned that anger fades, but peace has to be built. I do not hate Lauren anymore. I do not hate Derek. They did me a favor in a strange way. They showed me the truth before I made a commitment I could not undo. They gave me the chance to find something real instead of something complicated. If you are watching this and something in your relationship feels off, trust that feeling. Do not do what I did. Do not explain away the late-night texts and the mysterious contacts and the Sunday afternoons that do not quite add up. You deserve someone who chooses you every single day, not someone who keeps you around while they figure out their options. And if you ever find yourself being someone's backup plan, remember this: you have the power to close that door. You have the power to hand them their suitcase and tell them to go be complicated somewhere else. I did, and I have never looked back. Sometimes the hardest goodbyes lead to the best hellos. I am still waiting for mine, but I know it will come, and when it does, I will be ready. Now I want to ask you something. Have you ever had to walk away from someone you thought you loved because they showed you they did not value you the same way? How did you find the strength to do it? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one, and your experience might help someone else who is going through the same thing right now. If this story touched you, please hit that like button. It helps more people find these videos. And if you have not already subscribed to this channel so you do not miss the next story, share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Sometimes we all need a reminder that we deserve better. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And whatever you are going through right now, I hope you find the peace and the love that you deserve. Take care of yourself.